Nurse Jade, Nursing the Truth. I hope everyone's having a great evening. Well, I am because I'm by myself and I've been doing some researching and scrolling and wanted to bring some good information to you guys. I've been bringing out some good stuff about the Jesuit oaths and some spiritual things about calling on the spiritual realms of what happened to our Christian Bible and how they messed with that. Also, I've been talking about the Noahide laws, and this is kind of like a part two series about what's going on with Israel and what's happening to us. As I have told you before, these are not the original inhabitants of Canaan. Canaan at that time was a lot of different mixed people, whether it be Egyptians, Canaanites, Syrians, Hittites, the whole 9 yards. There's a lot of different people there. And the movement of monotheism really started with Akhenaten. And so he died. And so the people that were in the Sinai Peninsula, the Bedouins and all, the Shashu, those type of people, they mixed and went to Canaan. Along with some of the Egyptians that were left over from Akhenaten. And that's where you get the split of Judah and Benjamin with the other 10 tribes in the northern area. They said, to hell with that crazy shit. We are doing our own thing. And they did do the Canaanite worship and stuff like that. Now, sorry to be so raw. I am raw and unedited today. No makeup on. Not frou-froued up today. But I'm bringing it to you like it needs to be brought. I know some people don't like the way I talk or like the way I bring stuff, but sometimes to get people's attention, I have to speak it to a level that I will get your attention. So, it's how it is. So, and when they got taken off, and like I said, during those times, Egypt did rule Canaan, and then it switched hands to Assyria, and switched hands to, Babylon, and switched hands to Persia. A lot of hands were going on with Egypt, a lot of issues. So, and a lot of mixing, people getting married, having kids. The bloodlines were very, very mixed. So many different people. Indo-Europeans were being mixed with Egypt and all of the rest of that area. So, not the original inhabitants. These people, and it's not the people, I guess, per se, that don't know any better, but it's the higher echelon that are running the game. Central bankers, the bloodline, the money bloodlines, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, that are in this. And everybody that is in the truth movement knows about this information. So they're making it like a messianic thing to come about. Israel already has the Supreme Court. They have the pyramid. They have the Eye of Ra, which they've totally. It's like everything that stood for good at one time in Egypt. They have then turned it around, and everybody thinks Egypt is bad, and that's why they got the bad deal. The Ankh, the Eye. Everybody's like saying it's evil. So they've turned it around. So anyway. In the Old Testament, it talks about this ruler, okay, of David and another king, like a high priest and then a king, to rule from Jerusalem. This is their end time prophecy, which during the first century, they were messianic fever then, but it only. What has gotten to this point is that basically the writings that were done way before the first century and the people that were born in that era, they were only going by what was written before them. And basically, when Rome took over Jerusalem and Canaan and all that, and Egypt, they were looking for someone to come and fight and rule as a king. But that never happened. So they're still going on these documents as being prophetic. Okay? But it's to the point now where they want to build this temple. They want to get a Mashiach. They're going to place someone there from Jerusalem to rule all nations. Because it says in the Old Testament that this Mashiach that's coming will rule the world from Jerusalem. The sacrifices will be in place. They will start again. So it's going to be a show. So they're calling on this Mashiach now. They're calling on it, calling on it, calling on it. Another interesting fact is that Notre Dame Cathedral was burned on the very same day that the Talmud was burned in front of the Notre Dame Cathedral. So if you go do some history on that, I learned that today, that the Talmud was burned in front of Notre Dame, for, 1456, about 500 years ago, I think on this day or a few days ago or something like that. I think it's Maimonides that wrote the Talmud, and I think he died in Egypt. But anyway, this is a lot of information to swallow, I know, but it's all over the internet, okay? But back in 2014, Netanyahu promises the Talmud would be Israeli law. He said that the calendar will be official calendar of state and new basic law, Jewish law, basis of the legal system, and it would enshrine Israel's status as a non-nation state of the Jewish people. Okay. So now he's going to try to make the Talmud the Jewish law. You have Ronald Reagan, you have George Herbert Walker Bush signing in the Talmudic Noahide laws already in effect into the United States, I guess, government or whatever. And then you've got Trump. When the synagogue got infiltrated or burned, or somebody went in there crazy shooting up in Florida, I think it was. This is on the internet as well. That right after that happened in the Florida legislature, they passed a bill about anti-defamation. So the ADL was set up for them. So if anyone talks about them, they can get in trouble. Now listen to this, guys. If you go on this, this is on Wikipedia. This is on Wikipedia. 7 Laws of Noah. As we know, people, wakey wakey, Noah was a fictional character. Yes. He was. The original character of this story was Uasudra. Okay, from the Sumerian tablets. Alright, so you've got your Epic of Gilgamesh, you have your Sumerian tablets, you have your Atrahasis, which is Titchum, I believe. Sometimes I have a hard time saying these words. And you have Atrahasis, the Sumerian tablets, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and you have the Noah story. But everybody says that Noah is the one that we have to live by and what we have to go by. But they're the plagiarizers, and they stole after they were in exile from Babylon. But we're supposed to listen to them, right? Wrong. We're not. Don't let your guard down, people. So if you know the history and you know information, ooh, information and education is powerful. So, as a binding set of laws, it says, for the children of Noah, that is, all of humanity. According to Jewish tradition, you know, the crazier followers of Akhenaten, and then they died off, and then they went around to the Shasu and the nomad tribes and the whatever they were, just a killing machine. Everywhere they went, they were just horrible. Who adhered to these laws because they were given by Moses. Moses ain't no damn real person either. Akhenaten are said to be followers of Noahidism and regarded as righteous Gentiles. Well, let's see. Okay, I'm just thinking right quickly. Well, we know Akhenaten was an Egyptian, but he did have Semitic blood through his mother. Okay. Now, the 7 laws is not to worship idols, not to curse God, to establish courts of justice, not to commit murder, not to commit adultery, bestiality, or sexual immorality, and not to steal, and not to eat flesh torn from a living animal. According to the Talmud, the rabbis agreed that the 7 laws were given to the sons of Noah. Oh, you mean the sons of Zuasudra. However, they disagree on precisely which laws were given to Adam and Eve. 6 of the 7 laws are derived from passages in Genesis, with the 7th being the established of courts. Okay, so what I just read to you earlier about what they wanted to do to the Palestinians, they want to murder. So, in one sense, they don't want us to do it. But on the other hand, truth seekers, they're committing murder left and right to those poor Palestinians and the African baboons that they call them, and all the other Gentiles of the world, the goyim, the cattle, the goyim. And not to commit sexual immorality. Hold up here, people. Do you realize that Tel Aviv, and if you're homosexual, okay, whatever, lesbian on my channel, whatever, but I'm just trying to give a point. Tel Aviv is like one of the most homosexual places over there in the Middle East. They have the gay pride parades. They have gay pride flags. But Netanyahu was going to live by the freaking Talmud. But the Talmud says the 7 laws of Noahide is not to commit sexual immorality. Okay. Talmud, it states that the Noahide laws apply to all of humanity. Now, hold up. Hold up. Who gives you the freaking right to say that the Noahide laws apply to all humanity? You better recognize who wiped your ass and who fed your freaking face. And that was Africa. And that was Egypt. And if it was up to me, I would have kept your ass there even longer. Now, I don't give a shit if you don't like this or not. And I'll tell somebody else about it too. Righteous people of all nations have a share in the world to come. And non-Jews who lives according to these laws, who the hell makes these laws? The little reptiles, the reptilians that are running the show? Any non-Jew, that's us, that's me. That's a black, that's an Asian, that's me. Wherever you are, my subscribers, Russians, Croatia, that's you. So how can this Noahide law, my friends, apply to you, Russia, you, Africa, you, Egypt, you, Palestine? How do these rules, how does this law that these people wrote apply to you? Punishment. I hope you are enjoying this video to where you will understand the significance of this, my friends. Get out of the church. Run as fast as you can out of every church, every organization, every synagogue, every mosque, because it is coming to a theater near you. Capital and corporal punishment in Judaism. In practice, Jewish law makes it very difficult to apply the death penalty. No record exists of a Gentile having been put to death for violating the 7 laws. Some of the categories of capital punishment recorded in the Talmud are recorded as having never been carried out. It is thought that the rabbis included discussion of them in anticipation of the coming Messianic age. Let's read that again. Remember, I'm telling you, they're playing the fine fiddle of the Mashiach, the Christ, the Christos, the crest is in you, my friends. You are the divine. Capital punishment. The rabbis included discussion of them in anticipation of the coming Messianic age. The Talmud lists the punishment for blaspheming the ineffable name of God as death. The sons of Noah are to be executed by decapitation for most crimes. Did you hear that? Did you hear what I just said? Reagan, Bush, Trumpet is allowing the Noahide laws into the United States government. And that because of this, people, we are put under the Noahide laws, every one of us in the United States. If we blaspheme the name of their God, they kill us and they chop our heads off. What do you not understand? But you will go and sit in that church and listen to this crap and say, Jehovah, Jehovah, you can go kiss my damn ass because I don't give a damn about you. The one that wrote this, Maimonides, do some research on this guy. He's dead. His spirit still lives. I don't know who he's reincarnated into now. Who knows? Maimonides states that anyone who does not accept the 7 laws is to be executed, as God compelled the world to follow these laws. What is wrong with you people? Going to bed with them? Stand up for your rights. Stand up for who you are and don't let anyone brainwash you. You are sovereign. You are divine. And the divine light is in you. Stand up, people. Tell people this is a farce. They are trying so fast to get this ball rolling, and Trump is behind that corner. Do not bite the bait. Looks good on the outside, but you must understand the family ties to the Shabbat. Maimonides adds a universalism lacking from earlier Jewish sources. The Talmud differs from Maimonides in that it considers the 7 laws enforceable by Jewish authorities on non-Jews living within a Jewish nation. and you want to go over to the Holy Land. I have no freaking desire to walk on that nasty ground. Evil. The blood running down the road with filth. I have no desire because my mouth will not shut up. My holy ground was Egypt at the Karnak temple of God. That's where I came alive. My soul burneth within me. Yeah, these people. The Maimonides held that Gentiles, Goyim, cattle, whites, blacks, Chinese, Canadians, Australians, Russians, Croatians, whoever you are, my friends, may have a part in the world to come just by observing Noahide law and accepting it as given by Moses. No such man. And even though Akhenaten was Moses, he had the laws of Ma'at. So whatever happened, even though Akhenaten had ego, and I know he wanted things his way, and he was trying to get rid of the corrupt Amun priesthood. I understand that. But he had issues himself as well. No one is perfect. I'm sure there were some good qualities about Akhenaten. But when he died and things took over and other people took over and I died and Anan, which was I's brother, died and Phineas died and Akhenaten died, we don't know what happened. It just got entangled in web after web after web after web. And then from Babylon to Assyria to Persia, mixed in with Bedouins and the Hyksos and Canaanites, and then you have 70 AD when the dispersion happened in Rome, in Jerusalem, and all these people fled. What do you think they're going to cling to when they get dispersed all over the world? A lot of them went back to Egypt, praise God. You see, because Jeremiah died in Egypt. And there were even temples in Egypt as well. They had an Egyptian high priest that came in with, I believe, the Maccabees, I want to say. Hamil or something like that. But anyway. But it really didn't, the stuff didn't really didn't get bad, I say, until this movement into Khazaria, the Khazars. Y'all, that's where it went bad. That's where it's went bad. Maybe things weren't bad before, but it just got worse over time. You understand what I'm saying? Because at one time, the Muslims, Christians, I've been in Egypt, I know the Christians, the Muslims, and the Jews lived in harmony at one time. But there's only 19 Jews left in Egypt, with 27 synagogues. Now, in the Chabad movement, Chabad, Maimonides stated that God commanded Moses to compel the world to accept these 7 commandments. In 1987, President Ronald Reagan signed a proclamation speaking of the historical tradition of ethical values and principles, which had been the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization, when they were known as the Seven Noahide laws, transmitted through God to Moses on Mount Sinai. And in 1991, Congress stated in the preamble to the 1991 bill that established Education Day in honor of the birthday of Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Chabad movement. Whereas Congress recognizes the historical tradition of ethical values and principles which are the basis of civilized society and upon which our great nation was founded, whereas these ethical values and principles have been the bedrock of society from the dawn of civilization, when they were known as the 7 Noahide laws. So, I know this video is long-winded, but you got to get the information. Where's the Code of Hammurabi? Why are we not living by the Code of Hammurabi? And the Code of Hammurabi is older than this. But you know what's even older? The order and the natural laws of Thoth. Tahuti, the god of writing, gave to mankind the negative confessions of Ma'at, his wife, of truth and justice and righteousness. Those, my friends, are the laws that they copied. But, my friends, if you do not go with their program, they will kill you and decapitate your head. It is on Wikipedia. Friends, wake up. Wake up. It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. It's going faster by the day. And let me see. I thought I saw one more thing, and I'm going to let you go. I saw it in just a second. Okay. Here we go. Okay, but anyway, in the Talmud it says capital punishment in classical sources, capital sin separated by the four types of capital punishment, and contemporary attitudes toward capital punishment. This is sick. This is sick. It says that Judaism has a complex history which has been a subject of extensive debate. While the Bible and the Talmud specify capital and corporal punishments, including death by stoning, decapitation, burning, and strangulation for some crimes, these punishments were substantially modified during the rabbinic era. The Mishnah states that a Sanhedrin that executes one person in 7 years or 70 years, according to Eleazar ben Azariah. This is sick. Anyway, guys, I love you. Like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and family about me. I hope this has been another enlightened video. I know it's long-winded, but I had to get the information out. I had to show and give you sources. The Seven Noahide laws, the 7 laws of Noah on Wikipedia. Benjamin Netanyahu is really Milakoski of Poland. Hotep and Ashe, and I shall do what the gods of Egypt say. And I beg and I pray to the Neteru, come down and make a better golden age again. Have a great evening, guys. I love each and every one of you. Hotep.